feels real. From the ground to the stars, we're built on dreams, we're raising bars. The grass is greener in America, where freedom sings, where hearts run wild. The grass is greener in America, a shining city, a dream compiled, the place the world keeps reaching for. The grass is greener in America, where freedom sings, where hearts run wild. The grass is greener in America, a shining city, a dream compiled, the place the world keeps reaching for. The grass is greener in America, where freedom sings, where hearts run wild. The grass is greener in America, a shining city, a dream compiled, the place the world keeps reaching for.
Hey folks, welcome back to the program. This is Chris live in central Pennsylvania. Got a little bit of rogue beard hair there, it looks like. What's going on there? Okay, there we go. Got those out of the way. Ah, bless it. I can see it, but there it is. There we go. Drive me nuts here. Sorry about that. Welcome back to the program. Oh boy, let's do a sound check real quick. Back to the program. Okay, well, Olympics are underway, and we're covering that. I just came back from Dallas this week. I'm headed to Pittsburgh shortly for another visit to refugees. Virginia, Las Vegas, and Florida are in the cards after that. So looking forward to that, folks. All right, so yeah. Diana Thompson, I have no idea what she's saying. What is the latest she's saying? I don't even pay attention to that person. So you want to tell us what is being said over there? Okay. That's a person who has likely have a civil lawsuit against them very soon for running their mouth. They're going to need to be very careful about what they're saying. Very careful about what they're saying. The evidence is already gathered, and need to knock it off. Anyway, yeah, so thank you those for who's subscribing here. So let's get to it. This past week I went to Texas. I flew down a week later than I intended, and we wound up commemorating the one-year anniversary of President Trump's executive order suspending all foreign assistance in South Africa because of its actions and opening up a refugee program to South Africans with a priority for Afrikaners, but open to all racial minorities. So there you go. That happened this past weekend. We had a big meet and greet. The Hate Wankers commented on my business video, which had nothing to do with the meet and greet. And then also claimed that there weren't 85 people there. I counted the people. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I counted all. There are 85 people there. Didn't even count myself. So, yeah, we had a great meet and greet. I then also did interviews with several people while I was down there. Thank you for your membership for 11 months there, 360 at 46. Did interviews with many of the people present. Or excuse me, I met many of the people there. And then did interviews, at least 3 interviews. And all of the interviews were different. Each had a different angle. The interview with Danny talked about mental health and bringing pets over. She's associated with the Project X effort that's brought a couple pets over already. And then we also had the interview with Tabas, and Tabas was interesting because Tabas had come from Maine to Texas, so that was an example of someone doing something different. We had the interview with Roz and his lovely wife, Letitia. That was absolutely epic. All three interviews were fantastic. Another family offered to do an interview, but then begged off, and that's fine. That's their prerogative. But I did waste my afternoon. Next time, please give me a little more heads up rather than just making me sit around and wait. I had the courtesy to wait when I had other things to do. So there's that. And then this week, while I was in Texas, I gave an interview to the Free Press, and nothing I said was included in the article, presumably because it was already mostly written. I don't know. But the bottom line is that that article came out, and the focus by the Ferreiras in South Africa has been on South Africans and hate wankers talking about South Africans. But the reality is that what has been uncovered here is something that I uncovered, and now the mainstream media has gotten a hold of it as well. CBS News, the Free Press, something I previously reported, and to her credit, Shelley Hepburn previously reported on as well, and that is the mistreatment of refugees. Their focus for this story and Shelley Hepburn has been on South Africans. What I discovered is it's pervasive, and it's not just South Africans who've been receiving this substandard care and help with the refugee cases. Also discovered other nationals, including Afghans, who've been treating. So, what does the video say? What does the video say? Can you please talk some positivity to some of us? Something very negative and morale very low with lots of people. Well, then I can't help you. Why is your morale low? Why is your morale low? Well, the lack of communications. There is no lack of communications. Your turn hasn't arrived yet. It's as simple as that. If you follow my advice and go on with your life and continue your life, when the call comes, you'll be excited. Pre-screening, medicals, Joe Berg, last minute, expensive. Yeah, no, it can't be expensive. What happens if your medicals expire? You have to redo them. That's a normal course of events. I haven't heard of anyone in this situation yet whose medicals have expired, who's had to redo them and not come to America. I'm sure that will happen. But in the past, we've talked to people who've, and you've seen reports of people who were refugees in Kenya, and they've had to redo medicals 11 times, waiting years to get out. So you have to redo it. She's just an evil person who has no life and is probably being paid for the negativity. I doubt anyone has applied in January and been called. I seriously doubt that. Yep, Talitha, I believe that's what will happen. You'll have to go through the medicals again. And that's unfortunate. Hopefully they'll find a location that's near you rather than force you to go all the way across the country. But Rikus, what do you want me to say? People are getting themselves into this funk. There's nothing I can do to help you if you don't listen to my advice. Sent an email from Bike, OK360. Martin Fondemev wants to know, did a PRM email a statement of interest and done an intake question, not heard anything? Is there anyone else? There are lots of people like that, Martin. There are lots of people. We know for a fact that Secretary of State Marco Rubio in late May or mid-May, and this, 2 weeks after the statement of interest was opened up, he announced in Congress, when he testified before Congress, that 70,000 people had submitted a statement of interest. 70,000 people. So there are only 2,000 who are here. So I don't understand why people are talking about how it's taking a long time. They are going through this as quickly as they can. Hey, Matt Canali, what's going on, man? Did you see the Italy-Ireland game? That was epic. Italy could have won that game. All right, so yeah, so that article came out talking about bad things, but the real story is not the bad things. It's the shadow banning that takes place on my channel, because if people watch my video talking about what the real story here is, not South Africans, but refugees in general, and that there's a lack of oversight from the U.S. government and or the refugee agencies themselves, that's the real story, and that's one that Maddie Rowland, I think, was her thesis, but it comes across as South Africans. 97% of South Africans I've engaged with have had a fantastic experience. I just had a phone call from a South African who initially refused to do an interview, told me they didn't want to do it. I offered it to them. They said, no, I'm not doing it. And then after watching my interviews this weekend, just contacted me a few minutes ago, live in Virginia, and the refugee says, I want to do an interview now. Anonymous, but I want to do an interview. So, yep. Yeah, people are coming forward. Okay. Sure, the number is closer to 200,000 because all the press and all the family and ties going over, the number of impacts is growing daily. Guy, it's a big number. We have no idea what it is. The only factual information we have estimates. I gave an estimate. The only factual information we have has come from Marco Rubio, who said 70,000. That was 2 weeks into this in May. Riff's Heart, 350 Rand super chat. Thank you for that. I thought the super chat button had died. We've had so few super chats this weekend. It's been a dry weekend. Yeah, I guess because it's mid-month. Someone who's been through the process to budget about 25,000 for flights, airport transfer accommodation, in-person views. Depends on how you can fit in. That's ridiculous. Who told you that, Karen? Who told you that? You don't pay for anything. You don't pay for anything other than going to the location for the interviews. So you don't have to budget 25,000. What are you trying to scare people? Who's the 25,000 for? Let's just do a little quick thing right now. Let's pretend we've got a flight coming up this week. I'm gonna do this right now, okay? Karen, I'm not picking you, but I'm just gonna show how stupid this is. Because first off, 25,000 for what? One person, two persons, 6 people in your family? Koos, go Scotland for taking the win. Yeah, that was brilliant. Thank you for the 70 Rand. Let's just do this Fly Sapphire. Let me log into my account of Fly Sapphire. Fly Sapphire. Oh, it's iFly. That's what iFly. No, what is it? Fly Sapphire. Come on. Fly Sapphire. I'll code. Why does it not give me in? Okay, yeah, I accept this. Log me in here. You remember who I am? Log me in. Okay, allow. Okay, I'm into my site now. Okay, let me just book a flight. Create a new booking. Click here. You guys can do this with me. All right, you'll watch and see. And I'm going to show you how people tell you things, and it's just nonsensical. All right, so I'm going to book a flight from Durban, from King Shaka to Johannesburg. Okay, I don't want Lansbury. I want OR Tambo is what I want. There, OR Tambo, Kempton Park. We'll pick this coming week. We'll pick. Let's go for Thursday the 20th, and return on the 21st the next evening. Okay, we'll pick one adult. Okay, let's go. All right. So my flight next Thursday will be. All right, we can get it for $769 if I leave at 6:25 in the morning. Okay, $769. Okay, if I want to take handbag, I don't need a handbag. I'm just going overnight. All I need is a handbag and then check luggage. I don't need check luggage. I'm not going to go to bag. I'm just staying overnight. I can put that all in my carry-on. All right, $769. Return flight. We'll return late in the evening, okay, because we got our interviews. So let's plan on late flight. Let's go with the this 6:20 flight, okay? 6:20 flight, okay? 569. Okay, continue. 1,399 Rand. Okay, that's 1,399 Rand. Last minute flight. You got to fly last minute. That's 1,300 Rand. Okay, now let's find a place to stay overnight in Pretoria. So, Agoda. Okay, all right, there you go. Agoda. Okay, let's check into that. Okay, let's go for Pretoria. Okay, Pretoria, South Africa. It was next week. Let's pick the date. That was the 19th, I think we said. Yeah, come back to Friday the 20th. One night. I'll pick one adult. One adult. Okay, search for a room. This is on Agoda. Let's see what comes up there. All right, here we go. Pretoria, this is for Agoda. All right, $72. Okay, Menlyn apartment. You get a whole studio or city lodge for $112. Here's Inyani Hotels, Morningstar. Well, okay, that's $36 if you're on a budget. $36. It's got a 7.9 review, great location. $36 US. Now price is it in US, so $36 in Rand is going to be calculator 36 times 17. That's 612. Add that to 1,300 Rand. That's 2,000 Rand. Now you're gonna have to get around. You can take the HAL train from HAL train. From OR Tambo to Pretoria, okay? All right, let's see. Between 990 Rand and 2,600 Rand, okay? So that's, let's say 200 Rand for that. Okay, 200 Rand for that. That's 2,200 Rand, and that's your trip up there. Now, that's not it. You're going to have to eat something, yeah. Uber cost me 800 to King Shaka. Most likely have to stay several days to a week. That doesn't include if you have to go back again. Why would you have to stay several days? No one stays several days. That's news to me, Kurt. And why do you have to take an Uber to King Shaka? Do you know nobody? I know you don't have a car, but do you know nobody? Nobody that's going to King Shaka? No one that can give you a ride out there? You haven't asked anybody in the Wyatt Army if they can help? You know, when you get close to the date. I mean, I found places where people have stayed for 150 Rand. Lady only charged 150 Rand for people to stay in her house. You know, she's not making any money off of it. She's using that money to pay for, because she's providing meals too. Just did this trip for King Shaka to Joburg for medicals, food, 2 nights, 2 flights, night stay, Bolt, and so on. 2,800. There you go, Pat. So 2,800. Someone just said you need 20,000 to make the trip. No, that's you got a family of 10, maybe, but come on, guys. Their hidden cost. I'm not forgetting anything. I didn't forget anything, Charles. No. You're just. I'm not even finished. Not even finished. And you're already interjecting here, telling me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. Why are you taking Bolt? Why are you taking Bolt? Why are you taking Uber? Take the HAL train, 200 Rand. Joburg to Pretoria. Then you can take an Uber. 60 Rand. Few canceled flights. Okay. Well, that was my concern with this shutdown, is if there might be some flights. Let me take a look and see. I haven't looked at my mail since Friday. It's just too much. Wow. Someone's telling me their case is urgent. They sent an intake questionnaire at the end of January and haven't had contact. Are you serious? This is an email I have. Are you serious? You sent an intake questionnaire 2 or 3 weeks ago and yours urgent? Sorry, I don't think so. I don't think so. That's not urgent. Wow. That's insane. Wow. And this is okay. Okay, let me look at this 360. Okay, I have nothing from you since February 5th. Nothing. Nothing. That's just on 360. I have nothing sent from you since that time. I don't know what you're talking about. You said that there's emails, canceled flights. I have nothing from you. Nope. Not unless you're using a different username. Okay. Don't have anything from you. I'm in my account right now. Four people just to carry on, hidden cost or the killer. You are getting. No, I'm not forgetting that. Well, now if you got 4 people, then 200 becomes 800 Rand. Yep. But it ain't 20,000. Mad Max says, instead of worrying about when and watching my case, rather spend your days getting your life in order, selling things of no use, start preparing. Believe me, time is short. Next super chat's coming in dollars. Okay, just did this trip from King Shock. Okay, thank you, Pat. And besides, what does it matter? I mean, let me ask this. People's feelings be hurt, but what does it matter? God bless, I got a hair that's coming up here. What does it matter? Do you want to come or not? You have to do these things to come here. They're not coming to you. You can complain. You can say, it cost us so much money. I can't do it. You can put your hands up. You can throw them in the air. All the complaining in the world isn't going to change it. My mortgage is still going to cost the same thing every month, no matter how much I hate it. My electric bill can go up and down based on my consumption. I have some control of that, but I can't control my mortgage. My insurance payment for my car, even though I'm accident-free and speeding ticket-free and claim-free, is still high, no matter what I do. I found the cheapest insurance company that provides the best coverage. 17 can't find the mother, can't get her out of the country. RCS says we can't wait until she's 18. Jacqueline, I have no idea what you're talking about. You can't find the mother. It's RSC, not RCS. RSC. Put your case in and have it go forward. The issue isn't with the U.S. The issue is with South African authorities. So, but that's something you have to fix with South African authorities. Persecution is persecution. Exactly. Okay. Napoleon says, a lot of money cost me $10,000 for my wife and I to get the interviews and back. Well, I don't know what you were flying or how you went there, Napoleon. Did you drive there and spend 5 nights in a hotel? Don't understand that. Rika says, if it's fine with you, I can message you in the week and I can shed some light on what's going on, not going on. Well, from your perspective, Rika, I'm happy to hear that, but that doesn't mean that's what's going on. That's your perspective, but happy to hear it. Feel free to send it to me. I watched a video from a few months ago about interview questions and answers that you had no idea for us. Prepare for interviews. Can you help with that link again? There's no link, Debbie. And with the certain USCIS agents constantly claiming that I'm coaching people, which is bullshit, I'm really reticent to share that again. It was in, God bless it, was in a group. You're welcome to be in a group and get it from there. Hendo can share that again if he wants, but I'm kind of reticent to share it. You just go tell the truth. There's no preparation. You tell the truth, you be honest. But I actually have people, trying to imply that I'm coaching people. I'm not coaching anybody. I just tell you to tell the truth. There's no need for that questionnaire now. With the intake questionnaire, there's no reason. That questionnaire we created was Hendo did most of the work. I just edited it a year ago now, almost a year ago. We did that in February last year, and that was because we knew nothing at the time. What could you possibly expect? I didn't know. But the U.S. government got pissed off at me because apparently what we came up with was pretty much on the money. So Hendo did a good job on that. There's no need for it. The things that you're asked, you've already been asked. It's in the intake questionnaire. Virtually everything that's in the intake questionnaire is something that we put in this questionnaire. So just fill the intake questionnaire out. You've already been asked the same questions, and that's your prep. I mean, if you need to prep for this, then you don't have a real case. It's as simple as that. As simple as that. I mean, you need prompting to tell people the horrors that's happened to you, the stories of your life. You don't need that. You just go tell the truth. So scared price-wise, but someone helped me. I did share a room. Did the cheapest, made a plan. I endured, spent 8 hours at the airport and got. Yeah, exactly, Pat. Exactly. Some people, I'm not targeting anyone in the chat who's talking about this, complaining about price, but some people think that, well, gosh, I have to drive there, or I have to fly there, and I need to carry bags, and I need to stay in a hotel. No. You work a plan out. Many South Africans have relations or friends in these towns. Work something out. Thank you for the 40 Rand. What do you mean you're going on 4 weeks and still hanging? 4 weeks is nothing. What do you mean, Liesl? I don't understand that. Going on what, 4 weeks? Since you last heard from somebody? Try 17 years. Look, guys, I don't mean to sound heartless, but I mean, honestly, come on, seriously. 4 weeks? My mother was almost, do you try to say dead? They attached here by Home Affairs. They said, wait. I have no idea what you're saying, Adele. What are you trying to say? They asked me the same thing at the interview about the coaching. Exactly. I don't coach anybody. If any of you claim I coach you, then you're lying. I don't coach anybody. I've told you to tell the truth and be forthcoming. Be forthright. Don't hide anything. If you got caught smoking weed in high school, then you need to tell the truth. They'll probably laugh about that. But if you got caught smoking weed last year and got arrested, well, that's an issue. Okay? Flesh in the Whales game was tough, man. Hey, Renee, what's going on? Madeline said we took her traveling adventure. So look, guys, every time I go to South Africa, I try to do something different and new and try to go to a different place, which is challenging. I've been all over South Africa, but every time I still haven't gone to the Cullinan mine and done the tour. I think it's no longer available. But each trip I try to, this last trip, I went to Oghabis Falls, courtesy of my host in Uppington. I'd never been there. It's a bit of a hike from Uppington, driving out there. But we went, and I got to see it. I also got to see Oma Katrina Esau, who's in her 90s, something I've been trying to do for a long time. You got to try to make the most out of it if you can. We drove from Kimberley to Cape Town and back. For any of you who have to go back now, for any of you, hang in there, Jarethra. I hope they get sorted out. Kimberley to Cape Town, that's a long way. That's a long drive. Kimberley to Pretoria would have been much easier. Aging nations need as many immigrants as humanly possible. Afrikaners and other people are possible. No, not really. That's silly. Swamped out. This is not an aging nation. We have a natural reproduction rate that replaces our population despite the lies of the media. It is at replacement level. In addition to that, it would be at surplus level if it were not for 900,000 babies murdered in the womb every year by American women. 900,000 children executed by American women protesting their reproductive rights when they're not reproducing, but they're terminating life. Some of those are painful decisions. Some of those are simply lifestyle choices. I'm not criticizing people doing it. I'm just stating the facts. So, since your flights were canceled. Your flights were canceled a month ago, Liesl? Okay, now I understand what you're saying. That's a bit of a concern. Okay. Yep, gotcha. I don't remember. I've intervened and checked on so many people I don't remember some of these things. Sorry. Thank you, Liesl, for clarifying. Okay. Who's doing the intake questionnaire again? Do not do it. Can you not follow simple instructions? The embassy website says do not resubmit it. It's as simple as that. Why would you ignore the advice or the directions they're giving you? I don't understand. This is what pisses me off about this thing. The U.S. Embassy website is very clear. It gives clear instructions. I don't know why people want to fight the system. It's a system set up that's evolved over time for your benefit. Here you go right here, admissions program. All right. Note, new information regarding how to request referral. Program, okay. Criteria, process, implementing partners, okay. This tells you the whole process. Read this, understand it. Do not advance beyond it. Then click on the intake questionnaire. It'll take you to the questionnaire. Read before you begin. Read before you begin. Lesen Sie das, bevor Sie anfangen. Zuerst. Lesen Sie das zuerst. If you've already been interviewed, okay, then you don't do this, okay? Do not complete this questionnaire if you've already been interviewed. It could slow down consideration, okay? For initiating this, here are the tips, definitions, understand the instructions, okay? All information must be provided in English. Good email address. Check your junk mail. Fill out the information accurately, attention to detail. It can take several hours to complete it depending on your personal circumstances. The program is free, okay? Beware of scams. Do not complete this twice. And these are the questions you answer, and then you advance. Are you a South African national? Yes. Are you Afrikaner or racial minority? Yes. Can the applicant claim a fear of past or future persecution? Yes. Does the applicant currently reside in South Africa? Yes. At least 18 years old? Yes. If you're not in South Africa, you're not going to go any further. You have to have yes to those. Follow the instructions. Do not complete a questionnaire twice. Stop doing that. Napoleon says the flight tickets can come in a hurry. Prep and get all your things in order so you aren't caught with your pants down. And will it cause an issue if we don't have our passports? Okay, no one cares about your unabridged certificate. There's no such thing. That's not an issue for this process. I don't know. South Africans started this whole crap with unabridged birth certificates. You need a birth certificate with your parents' names on your date of birth and your origin of birth when you apply for a green card, and 1 year after you come to America. You've got a year after you get here to secure that document. Some people said you can't get it from Home Affairs. They won't mail it to you, but that's bullshit. They can mail it to a relative or friend. You give them that address, that's where it gets mailed. And then they can make sure it gets delivered to you. All right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is that you don't need that. You do need a passport, but that's a South African requirement. I mean, we take refugees from countries that have no passports or get issued either a UN passport, temporary, travel document, something like that. But that's not the case from South Africa because in country and the South African government's not going to let you leave without a passport. So you got to get a passport. That's on you. That's on the government of South Africa. We have no control over it. Can you put in the intake questionnaire without it? Well, technically, you need the passport expiration date and number when you put in there. However, many people have been putting in, or some people have been putting in their identification card number and the expiration date on that, and the process allows them to complete the application. In the meantime, they get a passport. It's not a major issue for the U.S. government if you don't have a passport when you do the intake questionnaire. You just have to have it in order to fly because South Africa will demand it. I hope that answers your question. Okay, what else? Do you think if you receive approval that you will be eventually go? Yes, I do. I do, Discus. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? If you have a determination letter that says you've been accepted as a refugee, as long as your status doesn't change, the underlying conditions granting that don't change in South Africa, of course you'll come over as a refugee. Why would you think otherwise? Would you think we just give approval letters just for the hell of it? We waste $50,000 doing an investigation on people just because we want to, because it's fun? No, you will come over. The officer that got doxxed asked about coaching, told him no. Colonel Wyatt tells everyone to be honest and don't lie. Exactly. Well, he didn't have the courtesy to respond to me, so screw him. He got doxxed. I tried to protect him, and he didn't have the courtesy to respond to me. Now, maybe he's not allowed to, but I find that hard to believe. I reached out to him on Facebook, so he can piss off, especially if he's asking that question when he should know better. For the interviews, I was honest and truthful. My interview went smooth. You would not believe it. Already approved 2 weeks after the interview. There you go, Trump encounter. Good to hear. Waiting for flights process took about a year for us since statement of interest. The whole process cost less than $20,000 for a family of 4. That's 2 trips to Joburg, flights, car, and rental. Now that matches with what Karen was saying earlier. Budget $20,000, but Jason, that's for a family of 4. That's why I said the circumstances would matter. Yep. 2 trips to Joburg, family of 4. Flights. You got a rental car. You didn't take the train. Yep. Rental car with a family is going to be a better deal anyway because it only costs you a small amount of money in petrol, whereas the train is going to cost you more. Plus, train station. Who wants to go to the train station? I've been where the How train comes out in Pretoria. Not a fun place to be. Exactly, Broken Arrow. Beg, borrow, or sell your stuff to get to interview dates. Exactly. All right, from bike. Let me go look up bike then. Got it. You sent something on February 13th. Okay, attention to growing number. I'm well aware of this. Okay, first off, don't tell me about under review. That doesn't mean jack shit, okay? You're telling me the case under review. That doesn't mean anything. There are people in the States whose cases under review. That means nothing. Stop with the portal. No feedback. No feedback is normal. Some are in extremely difficult circumstances. Some have medicals expire. Well, if they've had medicals expire, they're going to have to redo them. Flights canceled. I'm aware of that. Exhausted financial resource while waiting for clarity. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send this to someone right now who can look into it. They don't work for... Anyway. Okay, I found that. All right, I've sent your email. I've done what I can do on that other than give you empathy. Okay. Elon said the population is collapsing. I don't know where he got his data from. It's not true. Not true. The Census Bureau just reported that U.S. replacement population is back over 2.1. It collapsed around COVID time, but now it's back over 2.1. Yep. The Rose State, is that the Free State, Antoinette? I know that Bloemfontein, the city of roses, but I don't know about that being called the Rose State. Keep changing everything. Initially, we asked for Pretoria. They gave us Joburg. We asked for consecutive days. They canceled on the first day. That sucks. Other than yourself, is there some office we can call to ask detailed questions? Nope. Nope. Nope, there isn't. And with good reason. With good reason. Why in the world should the U.S. government answer emails and phone calls from 150,000 Somalis in Kenya? No one has a resource for that. 70,000 people at least had completed the statement of interest as of late May of last year. That's just late May. Who in the world is going to be able to answer all these phone calls? And besides, most of this stuff is people's a waste of time. People are impatient and have unrealistic expectations. People make dumb decisions and they want to blame somebody. Calling someone's not going to help. I appreciate where you're coming from, Snippets. I appreciate what you want to know. That's why I said the my case thing was a disaster, opening that up. All that's just done is made things worse. I have not found a single person that went to my case and said, oh, it reassured me. Tell me somebody that went to my case and they said, I'm happy to listen to you. I went there, it reassured me. I felt comfortable. But the whole process was smooth. I watched my case develop and then I left. Not one person has come forward and said that. There's no office to contact. None. None. Went to Home Affairs, got some stuff. When she left, the guy had a knife to her side and said, okay. I don't know what you're saying. Did some guy walking out of Home Affairs approach your mother with a knife and stab her? I don't understand. I'm sorry. I don't understand. I think that you're being challenged by English. My apologies if I'm misunderstanding, but I don't understand what you're getting at. The first part of your thing makes sense. My mom went to Home Affairs to get some stuff. When she left, the guy had a knife to her side. What guy? What guy? Where did this happen at? In front of Home Affairs? Where at? I mean, that's the story lots of people say. Would an IQ test or submission be wrong? No. No. I mean, no, there won't be an IQ test. We don't bring people based on their intelligence, based on their wealth, based on their skin color, based on their gender, based on their sexuality. We bring people who are suffering persecution. This is not an immigration process. Not immigration. It's refugee. Refugee. I don't know why that's. I don't know if you're being facetious and you're trying to be funny, which is fine if you are. I don't take offense to it. Swamped out, but. This is not immigration. Why do people keep bringing up, well, my CV is amazing. I can do this. I can. We don't care. The law doesn't care. The law doesn't care how smart or brilliant or how dumb or stupid you are or how ugly or how gorgeous you are. No one cares about your sexuality and who you drop your trouser for at night. No one cares. That's not what the law is about. The law is about people suffering persecution. Liesl, I understand your situation. It's very distressing. Yep. Yes, I know what an abridged birth certificate is, but you have to get an unabridged one if you want to get a green card. Now, before I get attacked by the flying monkeys from the Hepburn crowd, you were wrong about that, miss. I told the truth. You have to have that in order to get a green card. However, there are exceptions, as I said from the very beginning. Erica is from Katanga. There is no such place as Katanga, no independent country Katanga where she was born under Moses Chombe. Doesn't exist anymore. It's part of the DRC, and no one's issuing birth certificates to white people who were born in Katanga in 1956. Just ain't happening. Ain't happening. So she doesn't have birth certificate because they fled. They barely got out before they started slaughtering the whites in Katanga. So, yeah, there are exceptions, but exceptions are not the rule. So you have to make a good faith effort to try to get one. If you come here from South Africa and you don't have an unabridged birth certificate, we don't call it that. No one's ever heard of such a thing. That's some dumbass South African form. Who would issue a birth certificate without the parents' names on it, unless they're unknown? That's some dumb South African thing. Thank you for 14 Rand 360. If you come here from a country like South Africa that issues birth certificates and you don't have a proper birth certificate, then the immigration authorities are going to say, why don't you have a birth certificate? You better have a good reason to explain why you don't. If you didn't make a good faith effort to get one, it could cause you problems. They can make exceptions, but don't make exceptions because people are lazy or don't make a good faith effort. You got to make a good faith effort. If the medicals expire, well, yes, they will do a sputum test again. Of course, Voidy. They will. I mean, tuberculosis comes back. It doesn't magically go away just because you've had it treated. Yes, broken arrow in my case is a disaster, and hence the reason I tell people not to watch it. How are you? How's your hip? My hip, Helena, thank you for asking. It's up and down. Some days it's good, some days it's bad. Last night it hurt like hell. Today it doesn't bother me at all. It's weird. Within a day of call, I know someone that got a call from Nigeria. Lots of people are getting these calls, wondering how they're getting this. Well, I've already explained this, Helena, many, many times. I wish people would listen to what I say many, many times. How are they getting this? From Google. I guarantee you, dollars of donuts. I guarantee you. Here's $1. I guarantee you, dollars to donuts. I don't have any donuts to show you. You are searching. You are revealing your IP address. Every time you go in a search engine, you search for something. Unless it's DuckDuckGo, they're selling your information. The Nigerians are buying data from Google and other data aggregators who Google sells it to. So it doesn't have to be Google being malicious. A data aggregator will buy the data. And for someone who constantly searches for the Refugee program from a South African phone number, gee, I wonder how that information is getting out there. Your number is being sold. But no, we got people, not you, Helena, but got people saying, oh, they're selling our numbers. They're not giving your information away. They'll go to jail for that. The U.S. people. Not going to happen. Data aggregators. You all don't understand how the internet works. Some of you. You really don't. Do you think Google's free? It's not free. You're paying for it every time you use it. It's collecting your information. Your IP address, your phone number when you're on a mobile. If you don't want your phone number out there, then don't join social media and only surf from a web browser on a PC or laptop or tablet. But it doesn't have a phone number. Don't use a device that has a phone number because your phone number is attached to that. Attached to the IP address and phone number, and they've got it. And they're looking. If you've looked at the U.S. Embassy website 100 times since May, that number is going to have, look at this. If you've searched on Trump and refugee, they're just calling people, cold calling. I don't understand how anybody gets a phone call or a text message from a +3234 number would even respond to it. Just ignore it. Ignore it. Block it. If you don't, then, it's what happens. It's on you. Not on me. I've warned people since February 7th of last year about this. Only filled in our ID information because we don't have a passport yet, but our ID card doesn't have expiry date, so we left that option, but will affect. Okay, first off, Johan Sila, I'm a little confused. People, I can't fill out the intake questionnaire. I'm not a South African that would just gum up the works. I'm not going to do that. So I don't know where it goes from here. But several people said it won't let you continue unless you put in an expiration date. So you telling me you completed the application and it gave you a screen that said it's completed without an expiration date? That's a new one on me. That won't affect your application. Do we need to go to the police clearance? No, not unless you're told to do it. Why would you do that, God? There's some really green wet behind ear people here on this program tonight who never paid attention to this program. Obviously, I'm being asked a question that we've answered over and over again. Yo, why would we trust a police clearance from the South African government on your case? Why would we trust that? If you're fleeing from a government that's persecuting you, why would we think that they give an honest police report? There are instances of a few people who say they have to have police clearance, but that's because they were charged with a crime or they were arrested for a crime. If you're not a criminal or not accused of being a criminal, you just not something you need. We're not going to trust the government. Yes, there are cases of people who had to get a police clearance certificate, but that's not the norm. That's unusual. Other countries don't do that. I never heard of police clearance. I don't go to the police for clearance. I don't have to prove that I'm innocent. In this country that works, if someone wants to find out if I'm a criminal, they do a check. I can check right now, Pennsylvania criminal background check as an employer. Employers can do this. So police check for employer in Pennsylvania. Okay. Employers in Pennsylvania, particularly those hiring for positions of children and elderly, must conduct background checks using Pennsylvania Access to Criminal History patch system. That's for state-level records, often supplemented by the FBI's Identigo. Okay, it costs $22 for state checks. So I go right here, and this is where I go, and I can check for criminal history in Pennsylvania. Welcome Pennsylvania Access to Criminal History. The patch unit will no longer mail out patch check. You just get it by email. So we have volunteer check record, a submit record, check the status of record, and register for an account. Why does it exist? So that we can check on people's criminal history. That's in Pennsylvania. That's how we do it. And in New York, in the national, this is the national system right here. All right, don't let TSA pre-check members expire. That's TSA pre-check. Anyway, so yeah, so we check criminal records checks. All right, so that's how we do it. Things work in this country, so we're able to check the system. So let me check on the internet. Hang on a second. There it is. Speed skating. What's going on? Okay, still going there. Okay, I've got hockey coming on a little bit later on. So yeah, so you don't normally need a police clearance check unless you've got a problem in the past. Okay. The only use of my case is to confirm that you're actually in the system and you haven't somehow disappeared from the database. Yep. You know, I'm really puzzled by people. I got people come to America. Do people even pay? Look, this is not directed to anybody in the audience right now, but do some of you all even pay attention? Honestly. I have people come to America, get stuck in the airport. No one shows up for them. And I ask for the case number and I get, oh, how do you not know your case number? The most important piece of information for this process is a case number. With a case number, which begins with SF, you know you have a case. How could someone not know their case number? I actually have people who land in America don't even know what I'm talking about. They give you a piece of paper when you do this. And that piece of paper, don't worry about this. I need a blank piece because it's got somebody's information on it. Yeah. So you get a piece of paper, and that piece of paper has your case number across the top. It has the Refugee Assistance Agency and its street address. It has your case officer and their phone number. And I asked for this piece of paper, which is a blank piece of paper, which has a black border on it and all that information on it. And I get blank stares from people. I have to spend a half an hour explaining to somebody who's trapped in Frankfurt what I'm looking for. I don't have any paperwork like that. Yes, you do. No, they didn't give me that. I'll send you the email they sent me, and they sent me an email from RSC, which is about getting their tickets. That doesn't help. That doesn't tell me any information I need. I don't understand how people just blindly wander through this process. I don't understand it. Do they not brief you on these things? Do they not tell you what to expect when you arrive someplace? Maybe it's a shortcoming in the system. But it's not a shortcoming in the system that you don't know what your case number is or your case officer. Every person has their case officer's name before they leave South Africa. Every single refugee, without fail. Yet people just give me this blank stares. It's insane. I don't understand it. Right. You see whoever has a criminal record, be honest in your interview and tell what you got record for. I have a criminal record and I was honest about it in my interview and I was approved. There you go, Matthew. Matthew, I told you to quit smoking weed. You didn't listen to me. By the way, let me cover this again. Criminal records. Criminal records don't necessarily mean anything. What do you mean don't mean anything, Chris? What are you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? Well, I'm talking about the following, ladies and gentlemen. Many times people have criminal records and they've not committed a crime. How could that be? Well, if you have a corrupt government or a corrupt system that is persecuting people, many times they'll wind up with a criminal record because they'll take a criminal charge rather than a long-term jail sentence and they didn't do anything. Being a convicted criminal doesn't necessarily mean that you're actually a criminal, particularly in places like Africa. Just saying. So we investigate these things thoroughly. Yeah, I found that email, 360. Thank you. Bike, I got it. Thank you for that 14 Rand. And I've sent that message minus your name to someone that might be able to look at, okay? Cases are always under review. People are here, their cases under review. It's so much info, it feels convoluted. What's so much info? That's not very helpful. You just told me what's so much info. What are you talking about? Okay. This time of day, I'm struggling to keep my eyes open. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Antoinette. People need to understand those that have approval. Your case has been sent to organization will handle your relocation. However, there's an issue finding suitable affordable. Exactly. You have to find a place that can absorb you. You have to find an agency that will take you. We're having trouble with agencies. We've seen that. So a lot of people in the same situation mentioned that you should be called before you receive your passports. Huh? Oh. People can upload all the info Refugee program to a chat, but tell it to stay within the program. What? No. What are you talking about? Upload info into the... Upload all info of Refugee program to a chat, and tell it to stay within the parameters of data. No. To be really honest with yourself, the program started a year ago. If you could not at least scrape $6,000 together in a year for expense-related cover this program, then you're not serious. Exactly. Going back to the whole time last year, all the whining, the belly aching, the pissing and moaning. I don't have a passport. I can't afford a passport. Oh, I know somebody's going to leave my program. Good riddance over that. You've had a year to scrape money together. Get a squeegee out. Sweep floors. Raise money. Borrow. Beg. Do what you have to do. Chris Adler's paid for passports for half a dozen people last year. Don't even know if any of those people came to the States. Yeah, it's and people were whining about this in February, March last year. I'm like, thank you, Trump O'Connor, for your membership. 3 months. There are a lot of people that this is new applicants. Well, you know what? Then they need to pay attention and they go back and watch the resources on the Refugee playlist and also on the interview playlist and listen to what people had to say and listen to what I advised people a year ago. My Refugee background information and background checks and medicals and things, everything is still valid except for the financial aspect, which has changed slightly because no more food stamps. And also, anyway, and all that was done in the absence of any information other than what I knew about the program, what I knew under the law. There was nothing from the U.S. government telling anybody anything. So, yeah, people need to go back and check these things out. Medical Spire, do they let you go for them again? See, Pat, I just answered this question twice in this. How long have I been on? 48 minutes. I've answered this question twice in this program. People need to pay attention. They make you go back and do your medicals again. I said people in Kenya wait 12 years, have to go back repeatedly and do them. Unless they make some kind of exception, but I'm not aware of them making exception. No, you can't make an appointment to do medicals. No, the program has to be controlled. It has to be a vendor that the U.S. approves of that does things that we pay for. Wish you a speedy recovery. Speedy recovery for what, student? What am I suffering from? Frustration? No. My sister moved to Mozambique some years ago and now doesn't want to talk to me because I got approved and she doesn't qualify, like you said. Yeah, well, Renee, I'm sorry to hear that. Your sister is a bitter person, very bitter person. That's her problem. Why did she move to Mozambique? She's a bitter person. I don't know her, but that's unfortunate for her to begrudge you a chance to survive. Does she prefer that you be raped and murdered in South Africa? I mean, is that the attitude? Wow. I mean, I'm not picking on your sister, Renee, but that's a pretty lame thing for but I told you. What did I tell people from the very beginning? This will break up families. That's why you should keep this to yourself. There's no need to tell anybody unless you've got a dying grandparent or something like that, or somebody that depends on you for their existence, and you're going to have to tell them. But there's no reason to tell anybody. Keep this to yourself because it will break up families. I've said that from the very beginning, and I was correct because there'll be people that insist they won't go anywhere, and others that will go. Charles Edward Hulk, yes, people get phone calls via WhatsApp from Church World Service, but they're getting it from RSC, not Church World Service, unless they're calling from the States. As Mari says, I haven't been able to watch your live streams well, but it's clear that the people are not watching your videos because exactly, as Mari, you are correct. You haven't been here in a while, and the exact same questions are coming up again. Snippet says, my interviews are unvaluable. I think you meant invaluable, but thank you so much for the 14 Rand. I appreciate it. My 1961 abridged birth certificate doesn't even have my parents' name on it. I only have a photocopy as a birth certificate. It was lost in the move. Okay, there you go, Karen. All right. It won't be a South African number, probably. But it won't be a Nigerian number, I guarantee that. I keep my refugee program myself, and the less they know, the better. Yeah, exactly. People are very judgmental, Coco. Yep. DuckDuckGo. Yeah, South Africans don't know their searches. Neil, well, you're from Wales. Yeah, use DuckDuckGo. Don't do your searches on Google. Don't do your searches on Google. Swamped Out is correct. YouTube is Google. We have been compromised. Yep, that's how they get your phone numbers. Helena said, that's what I thought about on Clarity. No worries, Helena. I've talked about that several times, and it's a fair question to raise. Look, anytime that somebody is concerned about their personal safety, that I'll address. I mean, even if the question's been asked 45 times, I'll ask it again, answer it again. James Demal. Kim Mad says, honestly, for me, my cases give me a peace of mind. I don't check it often, but it's the only... All right, Kim, only way I know that there's movement. Well, Kim, your approach is probably a sound one. Check it every 2 weeks. That's much better. But Kim, you do realize there are people that sit there all day long. 20 minutes later. 20 minutes later. And then they get themselves in a tizzy. That's what I'm talking about. So, your approach may be a very sound one, Kim. I'm not going to disagree with you. And again, I said, somebody tell me. You did tell me. It gives you peace of mind. See, there's somebody. Leslie, what's going on? Nigerians technically savvy. Some people do not know anything about the internet. It's like Wild West. Yeah, but the Nigerians calling you from a +2, 3, 4 number aren't very tech savvy. Because I would use a rerouter and make it appear as if I had a South African number if I was calling you, if I were trying to fraud you, which I would never do. A lot of people are new here and do not watch the videos, and a lot just do not listen. Exactly. Yep, Coco uses DuckDuckGo. Charles says, listen to Hendo. Why are you listening to Hendo? You should also realize that if you are decluttering and selling a lot of stuff Facebook Marketplace, exactly. That's another thing. That's it. Why I don't know why people use Facebook Marketplace, It's a dangerous thing that's out there. What will the number start with when you receive a call? Well, ziggerful. It could start with lots of things. It could start with a 27 number, which would be someone in South Africa contacting you via the U.S. Embassy. It could start with a South African number, which could be one of the RSC personnel in Kenya having their phone call routed through the embassy switchboard. It can start with a South African number from a U.S.-based person who's calling you from USCIS or the State Department, routed through the embassy. It could have a +254 for Kenya, or it can have a +1 for the USA. It could be any of those things. And Charles says, exactly, police clearance in South Africa can't be trusted because I can go get a police clearance in South Africa for a couple hundred rand and get it right now. I can walk in and get to my 500 rand and get a police clearance. Piece of cake. Why in the world will we want those things? Neil, I have to spoon feed a lot of nights, but I guess some people are new here. It's fine. That's why we do this program. I find should I answer was a better option several years ago when scammers tried to scam me. And true callers, they don't copy your address book. I'm not sure what Karen's saying. Waste your money, international driver's license. Who said international driver's license? Don't get international driver's license. I didn't see it. Oh, there it is. Spookasem. I wanted to check if I need an No. There are no mixed opinions on it. The people who say that don't know what the hell they're talking about. Let me tell you, anybody that tells you you need an international driver's license doesn't know what they're talking about. First off, you're becoming a resident of a state. Legally, you must obtain a driver's license from the state. You can't come here and drive on a South African international driver's license for a year or 6 months. Or 4 months. That's a criminal act. It's not valid if you're a resident. If you're a tourist coming here, traveling around, but you only get 90 days as a tourist, you're fine. But you don't need an international driver's license. You have a South African driver's license. You come here, you drive on that until you get a driver's license. And you have 30 to 60 to 90 days, depending on the state. Almost all of them are 30 days. You don't need a driver's license. Whoever is telling you otherwise is full of crap. I'll tell you that right now. Full of crap. Full of crap. I don't need someone that's really located. I know the law. I know how it works. I'm the only person in this discussion who's lived in 16 foreign countries on 4 continents. Someone else want to challenge that? Who's lived in more countries? And if you beat me by 17, then I'll say, fine. Who's been to more than 80 countries? I might be beaten there too. I know how international driver's license work. They're a scam. They're an absolute scam. You don't need them in Europe. You don't need them in Africa. You don't need them here. I have never been asked for an international driver's license once to rent a car anywhere in the world. Not once. Not once. I have never been asked for an international driver's license while driving on a stateside license in Germany or in Europe or in Africa. Not once. I've been stopped by corrupt officials who want shakedowns and want to see my driver's license, but never once was an issue I didn't have an international driver's license. It's a waste of time and money. Don't even worry about it. Michigan. Well, Blue knew. Good luck to you there. Where in Michigan? And On the Move says, also, the second person says, my case helped me to plan and follow the process to finally leave my home. Unfortunate guy canceled 5 days before departure. What guy canceled? Are you trying to say got canceled? What got canceled? Your flight got canceled? Years ago, I got a friend request on Facebook and could check them on the American site from here in South Africa. I'm not sure what that's about. I completed the questionnaire 3 weeks ago, received statement of interest, email Friday. No, that's not how the process works. You don't receive a statement of interest. What are you talking about? Are you misstating something, Dalstein? There's no such thing. What are you talking about? Are you misstating it? You don't receive a statement of interest email. What are you talking about? Daughter's fingerprints are smooth in some of her fingers because when she was a child, she fell against a coal stove. Her hands was melted. Yeah, that's different, Anna Karuga. You're correct. Hey, Anna, how's it going? How you doing? Boy, Anna's one of those folks that the Wyatt Army jumped into action to help when she broke down in Joburg, trying to go for her screening or her interview. Wow, that was a night, wasn't it, Anna? I hope you're well, Anna. Yeah, okay, well, that's a different situation. I mean, they'll send you the police to get the fingerprints done. Yeah, that's true. It's true. I have a person who, because of the hand sanitizer, wore off the prints in their fingers. That document would be in my hand luggage, and I would have it scanned on my phone, email. Exactly right, Karen. You are spot on. That document that has the phone number for your case officer and the address of where you're going should be in your carry-on. It goes in a file. They give you a folder, an envelope that hits in there, but you should take a picture of it with your phone and send it to your email so you have it everywhere. In case your phone gets stolen, in case your bag gets misplaced or lost, you have that information. Now, if both those things happen, you're kind of screwed unless you got a great memory. I don't have that great a memory for phone numbers. Smart statement there, Karen. Well said. What is that? Not in South Africa. What? Oh, I'm a little behind. I didn't realize this far behind. Okay, hang on. Okay, that's where I was at. Okay. +237. I don't know what +237. What number is that? That's not Cote d'Ivoire. +237 country code. That is Cameroon. Yeah. No. You get a +237 number. That ain't a refugee call. You're getting scammed. All right. What do we got going on here? I'm checking on the Olympics. Every time I go here, they're in a freaking commercial. It's ridiculous. Anyway, let's reduce that. Why do people like what get selected, Blood Cup? No, there is a paper copy of your case number. Absolutely. I've seen it for every person who's got in trouble. I've seen it. I don't know what you're talking about. Memorize case numbers so that I know it's something that you should know with any other numbers. Well, that's smart, Alan. Okay, Anna, who said that it's invalid? Okay, see, again, I can't operate on her, they, and this. Told her, who told her to get it? And you mean now they say it's invalid? The police clearance. I don't understand. Who's they? I can't read people's minds who they is. An alien number is not the same as a case number. Buying a used car under $5,000 worth taking comprehensive insurance would be mandatory liability better. Katifan Deban, that's a very good question that has not been asked before. Well, there you go. All right, ding, ding, ding. We got a new question. Wow, somebody asked a question that's never been asked before. At least I don't recall it being asked, or I missed it. Thank you for that, Katifan Deban. Okay, so I always have comprehensive coverage. Okay, liability is mandatory liability. You don't have a choice on that. You have to have liability insurance in order to operate a motor vehicle in every state that I'm aware of. You have to have it. It's compulsory. But comprehensive, if a car is worth less than $5,000, the reason for full coverage is so your car gets replaced. But it depends on the value of the car and how much money you have. Okay, if you don't have much money, the difference between comprehensive and liability can be significant. So for instance, on my cars, I raised my deductible from $250 to $500. So that means if something happens, I have to cover $500. They cover the rest after that, as long as it's covered. But the thing is that $500 is cheaper than $250. $250 is higher, much higher. So, but there's a deductible no matter what. They do that so people don't commit insurance fraud all the time. But for a car worth $5,000 or less and comprehensive insurance coverage, I got to be honest with you. Unless I relied on that car heavily and it's necessary for me to survive or do my job, I wouldn't, because you're not going to get much. They're only going to give you what the car is worth. Buying a car for $5,000 doesn't mean it's worth $5,000. But the thing is, today, many used cars cost a lot more than $5,000. So maybe, I mean, like if you bought a 2017 Santa Fe from Hyundai, that's an SUV. Let me see what the value of a 2017 SUV is. Okay, Hyundai. Value of a 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe with 2017, that's 9 years with 100,000 miles on, okay? 100,000 miles, okay? All right. Wow. The range for 2017, that's a limited, starts at 13,000, originally priced at 42,000. Okay, so let's see what fair market. Okay, yeah, here we go. 6 and 11, that's the number I want. So a 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe with 100,000 miles generally holds a private party value between $6,000 and $11,000, depending on the trim and condition and such. So we'll look at Kelley Blue Book. That's where you want to go to check the value of cars. Kelley Blue Book, okay, 2017, okay, a review of a 2017 Santa Fe, okay, and used car price. They'll give you quotes for it. So here's the reviews. Anyway, so Kelley Blue Book is one way to do it, but here AI, and I'll go with the AI overview, $6,000 to $11,000. So it's, but I mean, I generally wouldn't. I didn't have comprehensive coverage for my Volkswagen I paid $500 for back in the 80s, or the one I paid $300 for. What does the case number mean? We have UFN. No, that doesn't mean anything. NGO doesn't mean anything, Rikus. You have to have an SF. Once you have an SF number, you have a refugee case. Until then, your case is just being considered for a case. Case number starts with SF. Coco, you're correct. The victim of crime in the past, but I cannot prove it was because of persecution. Yes, I've well-founded fear for. Well, Debbie Ackerman, it shouldn't be if you have a well-founded case of fear for persecution. Quite frankly, I've told guys, this isn't coaching, it's a statement of fact. If I was a white or colored Indian South African, and I looked at 145 race-based laws, and I have been unable to find employment for 18 months, despite having a PhD or a master's degree or being matriculant and being the top of my class, and I've applied for all these jobs, and I get denied, and I say, look who got hired. Well, that's persecution. Persecution, okay, first off, we need to clarify something here. Crime is not persecution. Crime is not persecution. If you think that because you've been a victim of crime, you deserve to come over here as a refugee, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Crime is not persecution. Everybody's victims of crime. The world over. There's criminal activity everywhere. We've had serial killers in America. It's not persecution. Racial persecution, if you were a victim of crime because you were being racially profiled and they attacked you because your race, then there's a racial element to it, and that's persecution. And they're using crime as a means to do it. If you've been denied a job because of persecution, that's persecution. If you've been denied a bursary to go to university because of race, that's persecution. If you've been denied medical care in a hospital or treated poorly because you're white or brown in a hospital, that's persecution. So, Debbie, I'm sure that all the things I just mentioned, something in there must apply to you. Jason says, just tell the truth. A lot of people, new applicants, yep. Stop buying drinks and live only on what you have. Exactly. For people who say they have no money, I go and I see these people. I've gone these places. I have no money. I need money for passport. What are you doing? Smoking. How much money you spend on cigarettes? Stop smoking. What are you doing? I'm having a beer. Why are you having a beer? Costs money. Do you need a beer or cigarettes to survive? No, you don't. If you got an addiction, you're going to have to get over it anyway. Save that money. Put it in the bank. Get your stuff that way. Wife's cousin, best friend applied to the new portal 4 weeks ago and have been. You don't apply to a portal. There's no portal. And what are you talking about? There's no portal to apply to. No. There's an intake questionnaire. Is that what you're talking about? Yep, Lorraine Slabbert, you're correct. You just got to be able to articulate. Charles says, maybe I'm too calm. No, you're fine. Suspect that people needing to redo medicals will most likely do them once in the USA. Just my opinion. I have no idea, Charles. I have no idea. I don't know. It's a question I've asked and haven't got a response on. So, yeah. Your heel, Chris. I hope it's healing. My heel? You mean my hip? Thank you for that, student. Thank you. Snippets, your interviews are really unvaluable. Didn't I already read that? Olympics is actually turning into fun watch. Great Britain is doing okay. It's nice to see us win gold medals in cold weather sports. Yeah, that is interesting, Fleschen. Vanity says, I'll tell my family once I'm approved. Monster Mech says, if you haven't gotten a passport together for your passport yet, start saving now. Stop smoking. Stop alcohol. That's exactly what I just said. Thank you for 35 rand. I keep a refugee program myself, and that know the better, very judgmental people out there. Our system is broken. I'm thinking of applying for SASA. What advice would you give me? What advice would I give you for applying for a SASA grant? If you're eligible, apply for it. My daughter will be paying for 3 friends' passports. That's very nice of her, Sally. And Ben says, 100,000% fact. If you have only done MIE, will you still get a call, go further? Yes, you will. They wouldn't. Why? Okay, guys, I don't, look, I mean, Michael, why would we waste money? I mean, think this through. This question, I mean, I'm not picking on you. It's not directed at you. But why in the world would we send people to do medical and background checks if we're not processing you? It doesn't make any sense. Why would we do that? Why would we waste the money? I know government bureaucracy is going to be stupid, but they're not that stupid. Fathers have, what's this? If Richard Jenkins says, if fathers have passed, will USA accept birth certificate? Okay, I've covered that, Richard. We've just covered that early in the program, but I'll cover it again. We don't care about your birth certificate. Do you have a passport? That's identification. That's what you need to get out of South Africa. The government won't let you leave without a passport. The South African government, nothing with the U.S. When you apply for a green card, you have to have a birth certificate with your parents' names on it and your date of birth and your origin. Thank you, Joe Texas, $5. Super chat. You have to have that. If you don't have that, you're going to have a problem. That doesn't mean it won't work. But when you go to apply for a green card and they ask you for your passport and you give them this, like, what the hell is this? What's your parents' names? You say, I don't have one that has that. Well, this isn't satisfactory. Where's your passport? Well, I tried to get one. Here's a copy of the application. Here's a copy of the receipt. 9 months ago, I asked the South African government for an unabridged birth certificate with my parents' names on it. They never gave me one. I can't get one. Okay, well then, there you go. You made a good faith effort, and they'll probably give you a waiver. Sold stuff to get my passport in June. There you go, Coco. Tony says, thanks for all your patience. I know answering questions already gets a bit much. Oh, it is a lot, but yeah, no worries. Thank you. Yeah, Fleshin stuck indoors, hiding from the Oxford woke cabal. +254, Debbie, is Kenya. Many sent the PRM email within the first hour, submitted SOI within the first hour, completed the intake without ever received any contact. I don't know that that's true, thing of nouns. Some people claim that, but I don't know. No one's ever sent me a screen capture of those 3 dates. Maybe you're one of those people. But I've never seen anybody send me all that and say, look, this is this. I find that hard to fathom. It's not impossible, but I find it hard to fathom. Again, you have to understand that the PRM email and the statement of interest don't mean jack shit. They're done. They're done. The only way they matter is if you have done the intake questionnaire after November 4th, from November 4th onward, then they will see that you did the previous, and that presumably keeps you higher in the queue than the people who come afterwards. Presumably. We don't know any evidence that that's the case. But the PRM email doesn't mean anything. It stopped meaning anything on February or May 12th. And I told people on May 12th, do the intake or do the statement of interest, because we don't know they're even going to refer to the PRM email. And we do know that if you filled in a PRM email or a statement of interest, which verifies my analysis, when the November 4th intake questionnaire came out, it said even if you've done one or both of those, you must submit an intake questionnaire or you won't be considered. I still run into people who go, well, I did the PRM email. I haven't been called. Well, you won't be called because you can't follow instructions. Applied in March and done in October, still waiting for praying. Okay, Adele. Thank you, Colonel. Appreciate the answer and correction. There's so many groups saying different things. Just need to make sure. No, you don't. God's girl, were you the one who asked the question about the driver's license? I can't remember. You don't need a driver's license. The international. I know that's not nice, but I told no one, not one family member from my cat gives me peace of mind. There you go, Broken Arrow. Do what you got to do. Returning your home country once you left as a refugee could impact your refugee immigration status. It's advised only return once you're naturalized. You can't go back. If you go back to South Africa, you're going to lose your status, especially if you have no approval from the State Department. You have to have approval from the State Department to go back to South Africa. I mean, why would you go back to South Africa? Isn't your life in jeopardy? Isn't that why you fled? Isn't that why you became a refugee? If it isn't, then you're a fraud. If your life wasn't in jeopardy, you weren't being persecuted, you went back to South Africa, then you're a fraud. You're going to lose your status. Done and dusted, finished and clear. Why would that even be a question, Swamped? Why would you even be asking that question? And my audience that pays attention is jumping in, or Lorraine has jumped in, and Patch has jumped in and said too. It's not a vacation. Told a close friend that we're going. The first thing he said was, "What about us? What are we going to do without you to do their stuff for us?" Well, those are lazy shits. Those are anchors. Those are true Africans. True Africans. Leeching off of the family. Leeching off of the relatives who are successful. They'll have to stand on their own 2 feet. Simple as that. Former DA MP Pumzila Fundam. Oh gosh, she's a clown. Today's utterly predictable. Everyone told you so news. You were duped. You've been had, led by the garden path, swindle bamboozles. You're the captain ship. Stop bleeding every save with a shiny shekel promising nirvana. Let's just be honest. Pumzila Fundam is a moron. She's a dumbass elevated to a position she wasn't qualified for because she's black. She calls herself an expert in disinformation, and she proves it right there by spreading disinformation. Who's been duped? Who's been duped? By what? Presumably this is about the refugee program. Pumzila Fundam is dumber than a box of rocks. She's a moron of the highest order. And you know what? The Democratic Alliance is a perfect place for her. They're full of dumbasses. They got really talented people in that party, but it's also full of dumbasses. Yep. So is that on Twitter? Let's see if I can find that. Pumzila Fundam. Let's see if I can find her on Twitter. Where does she say this at? I don't see anything. Well, maybe that's because my account's not active over there. I've frozen it. Let me look at my phone at one of the other accounts. Twitter's such a scumbag operation. Fucking dirtbags. Elon Musk can shove it up his rectum. His freaking team allowing people to steal your accounts. I'm going to sue them because I'm paying for that account and they won't give me access to it. Yep. Where the hell is this stupid Twitter account at? Come on. There's Twitter. Okay. All right. Let me go to Pumzila. Oh, that's not what I want. I'm going to Pumzila Fundam. Phum. There she is. Okay. When I look at her there, it shows it's April of last year. I don't see any posts from her lately. Oh, 6 hours ago. Here we go. Sweden. School kids. I don't see what she said here. Oh, there it is. I found it. Yep. Yeah, Pumzila is a moron. You can tell her I said that. She's just a propagandist, disinformation loser. Yep, that's what I said. Pat says, my case went from not started in progress. Okay, duped. Okay. Sometimes we have to do things while the podcasts run and might miss some info. Patience, candor should be applauded. I'm going to sleep now. Okay, Benjamin, take care. They wanted a disposition form. We got a letter from the archives say 34-year-old files destroyed and have sent to the police was asked. Okay. So, get help with the laws of the U.S. to have a source ourselves. I don't understand your question, Tony. So wet. What does that mean? That's a typo, obviously, and I can't divine what you're looking for from that. You're gonna have to help me out. And know you helping, but it doesn't seem like there's a care for personal safety living in a garage, the suitcase, 30 sector flights. So on the move, are you accusing me of not caring about your personal safety? Is that what you're saying? Wow. Wow. Maybe I'm inferring incorrectly what you're writing because it's unclear. You only have so many characters. Why are you living in a garage with 3 suitcases? Why haven't you reached out to me and asked for help? I can get you food help. You want to pay for food. Just got to be able to cook it. I might even be able to find a place for you to stay, short term. Have you reached out to me? Maybe you have. You do send me emails if I'm not mistaken. So if I've not responded, then I apologize for that. Maybe I'm inferring what you're saying incorrectly. No, Vanna, you don't need an national driver's license. 22 countries, to be honest, most of them less than 40 hours before mobilizing offshore. Okay, Alan. Do your license over I did in USA in 2003 with no problems. Okay. Oh, it jumped on me again. So, folks, the chat jumps. Apologize for that. Hey, Vaynant DeToy's here. Vaynant, brother, how you doing? 70 Rand. When did you send that? I didn't see that. I heard the super chats come up. My goodness. Okay, that was at 3:09. Well, that's about 6 minutes ago. Vaynant DeToy, how you doing? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a celebrity in our midst. Applied the 6th of January. A week later, statement of interest for fingerprints since waiting for my first call. First email Friday morning to undergo the local security assessment, okay? The only thing I check is my email. Every bit of my... Yeah, check your spam folder frequently, folks. Yeah, make sure that nothing shows there. What are reasons being denied once an interview? Well, Laura Duplessis, no one's been denied. Some people claim to have been denied, but they're lying. No one's been denied. At least as of December 31st. I can confirm with 100% confidence the U.S. government, not a single applicant has been denied who is eligible. Aha! If you're not eligible, you're not denied. If you're a South African living in Dubai, you're not eligible. If you're a South African living in Namibia, you're not eligible. Therefore, you're not denied. Yes, those people get a letter of denial, but they're not denied refugee status. They're denied applying for the program because they're not eligible. According to the U.S. government, on December 31st, not a single person has been denied. So what would they be denied for? I can tell you what you can be denied for, but I don't know of anyone. You can be denied for felonies, violent criminal acts. Thank you, Madeline. You're very welcome for my time. Violent criminal acts, you can be denied for that. You'll be denied for lying and misleading the government, for committing fraud. Yeah, those are reasons to be denied. If you're not a victim of past persecution, you can't articulate a legitimate fear of future persecution, you can be denied because you haven't qualified. But there's no reasons. I don't know of a single person that's been genuinely denied. I know of a person who claims that they were denied, but they weren't denied. They lied. They committed fraud. They lied, and they jeopardized the people linked to them. They jeopardized their case. Those people will eventually get over here, but it delayed it because this person lied. And an investigation turned up criminal activity in which the person failed to report and lied. There are no U.S. refugee assistance program companies in Kenya other than RSC. And they usually mail you their e-number, the numbers you're going to call from. Hey, Just Joe Music. I made a way to get petrol money to get to Cape Town for my interview and didn't bother me to help others get there when they need it. There you go. My friend has 2 associate degrees, 2 bachelor's, working master degree in nuclear and safety. And well, there you go. Joe, Texas, there you go. That's racial persecution. Can't get a job, got all those qualifications. Yep. Hey, Vaynant, you're checking in. I'm glad to see you here, man. How you doing? We need to chat soon. We haven't chatted in a while. Lots to talk about in the world. How's the program going? I hope your channel is doing well. I'm going through the doldrums right now. Viewership is way down. Way down. Way down. How's the family, Vaynant? My main claim is racial persecution, employment basis, can't find work. There you go, Karen. There you go. If you can't make a plan to ensure your own safety, you don't want to, okay? I was told in public hospital that I was being discharged because I'm white and Afrikaans can pay for medical. Exactly, there you go. That's persecution. It's a public hospital. You're a taxpayer. You're entitled to use it. It's gone through everything now, waiting for answer for tickets. Is that a question or statement, Joe? It's a question mark, so you got a question there. Let my cleaning go, saving money, seeing that okay, you got a cleaning lady. Well, I can't afford a cleaning lady. I've never had a cleaning lady. Yeah, that should be one of the first things you let go. Yeah, intake questionnaire. Thank you, Ian. Okay. Then they are just wasting the government's money. Doesn't make sense, says Golda Kruger. Joe, Texas, my 2 friends have, my friend, okay, I already read that. They're working for peanuts due to discrimination, okay? Your UN case number is your questionnaire. Make sure your questionnaire is fully submitted. Yeah, your case number begins with SF. Joe, Texas, $5. A friend has gone through everything, just waiting for tickets, okay? Vaynant gave 70 Rand. Went to the bank to inquire about home affairs. Oh, they were offline again. How long before your passport expires do you think you should renew it? Well, Road Captain Kev, that depends what country you're in. I'm in America. I can do it 90 days before my passport expires and it'll work out fine. And I did it this past time about 4 months before it expired, or 5 months before it expired. But the problem is that the idiots left it in the post office in Philadelphia for 2 months. And I had to pay for an expedited service to get it to me so I could fly to South Africa for the elections. Yep. Submit our application not even a week ago, and I received an email for our fingerprints. That's quick, Simon. Congratulations. Yeah, passports last 10 years. Will linked family members that are approved wait for the rest of the family? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It depends. The interview we just did with the Oosthuizens, Chris is a fiance, so they all came together. But if you have a link case, it just means you're going to wind up in the same place. If you have family, a cousin or a brother or a sister or parents, it depends. But they won't necessarily travel with you. Original birth certificate with my parents' ideas, not their names. Both are deceased. Well, William, I've answered that already. Got my unabridged certificate in 2 weeks in September. That's pretty quick. Never go back to South Africa, says Charles. I know it's 10 years for audits, adults, 5 years for minors. How long before it expires do you renew it? Well, Road Captain Kev, most people submit it 6 months before it expires. Depends what we said in the interview. We're waiting on 2 members to still get their first email. A Toothless Wonder saying, okay, what else we got here? A lot of people here tonight have not watched. No, they haven't, Lorraine. It's pretty obvious. A lot of people watching this program have not watched my videos, or some people are just trolling. But I think most people are asking because they haven't watched the videos. Saying how many people are just destination shopping. How about destination shoppers withdraw your fake applications? Let the rest of us get on with it. You told them from this point on to our application to hold on to other members. Sorry, Toothless Wonder. Most countries require at least 6 months left in passport if your home country is less. Okay. Won't be returning south there, says Candace. Gotcha. Okay. That's why I work abroad, and it was explained to me that I can't leave and re-enter South Africa while holding refugee status. While still in South Africa, so people every 6. Okay. Spartan says, I did send you an email today at 11 a.m. Okay, Spartan. I've been broadcasting since 11 a.m. You might have missed that. Why would you come back? Yeah, exactly. Neil says, I'm very sure Elon had a hand in the refugee program. No. It doesn't mean he didn't help, but he doesn't have a hand in the refugee program whatsoever. And it's not because of him that this happened. Nope. David says, thank you being following the refugee program since February 25th or 25. Got an email. Okay. Oh, you just submitted the intake questionnaire. Wow, that's quick. You waited a long time. I guess you were unsure. What else? Doing interview for a remote job in U.S. company now in South Africa, but assuming once I know I'm going, I'll have to sort out some things. Shouldn't be an issue, though. I'm really not sure what you're getting at, Werner, but I guess not. When you get your case number, you get your case number when they assign a case number. I'll send it to you. You get screened, and then they assign a case. Then you'll get it. When are you going to be in Las Vegas for your meet and greet? Leslie, that's undetermined right now because the Army's screwing me over. The Army agreed to do a 1 week that I had to provide the first week of March. Then they changed it to the third week of March, and so I rescheduled my trip to the third week of March. Then they changed it to then, and I'm still waiting for a response back to them. I can't just. I'm doing consulting, and unfortunately, it used to be 3 weeks straight. They've broken it down, so 1 month we do 1 week and do prep, and then the next month we do the 2 weeks, which is rehearsal and then the execution. But they're really screwing me over here, so I don't know. I want to go in late March, so we'll see. Yeah, I've given updates, Henry, on the lady who was shot. Yeah, she's doing much better. Let me see if I got an update today. He wrote to me a day or two ago, and I covered that on my program. Okay, Thursday he wrote me. And I wrote, I told her face is starting to decrease, the swollenness and puffiness. The trauma doctor is happy. The fever she had is gone. They're going to reduce sedation. And yeah, no bleeding on the brain. And yeah, so they are hopefully ready to fly in 6 weeks. That's pretty amazing. So that's the plan, 6 weeks. So yeah, I gave that news on Thursday. No updates since then. Hey, Leslie Ann. Well, Holden, it's not the Central Intelligence Agency. You know, Defense Intelligence also pays attention to South Africa, as does Nuclear Regulatory Agency, Department of Energy. Many people pay attention to South Africa. Lots of intelligence focused on the whole world. No, Snippets, we don't know. We don't know, and we're not going to speculate. Debbie, I don't announce my trips to South Africa because of death threats and because of efforts by people to circumvent my travel. So I don't announce my trips to South Africa. When I come to South Africa, you'll find out when I'm in South Africa. That's how I did it the last time. That's how I do it in the future. If and when I come back to South Africa, it won't be announced until I'm in South Africa. Simple as that. Yep. FBC Storm, USCIS interview should never be rescheduled. That shouldn't be a problem. Those people are actually there. It's the pre-screening stuff that gets screwed up with RSC. But yes, they will reschedule if you don't show up. For people who want to know what cell number to look out for, they'll get an email. Yes, I said that already, Kathy. I said that you get an email with a list of numbers on it that it should be coming from. If one regularly questions your own intelligence, evidence that your fears are rational are quite comforting. Liesel says, shout out to Carl from Food Socks as we're still enjoying it. Thanks for that. I'll email you again with our case numbers, cancel flights. Liesel, there's no need to go ahead and email me again, but I mean, I've done what I can for you. You know, if there's no movement, then there's no movement. There's nothing I can do on it more. But send it to me. I can check again. You did the intake question at the end of December. ID cards, not passports, and then not hear anything. Do you still have to wait? Well, of course you have to wait. What else are you going to do, Marina? I'm confused. What I mean, you're saying that you did an intake questionnaire in December behind 150,000 other people. And do you have to wait? What else would you do? I don't understand. Of course you have to wait until they contact you. Game Live AB, that's your question is, does anybody have any idea about how many months the agency pays for your rent? Some say 1, some 3. Well, it depends. That's the answer. It depends. The amount of money per adult is $2,000. So if you have 2 adults in your family, let's say you have 3. Let's say you have an 18-year-old. So in the case of the Oosthuizens, they have 3. They have the mother, the father, and an 18-year-old daughter. That's $6,000. If the rent's $1,000 a month, and they're paying for it out of that money, which is where the money comes out of, then they could pay for several months. But yes, they're supposed to help you with up to 3 or 4 months, but that's not how it's working out. So why are you worried about that? If you're worried about what an agency is going to pay when you get here, then your life's not in jeopardy. You get here and you deal with it. That's how it works. Because you're going to wind up where you wind up. You're going to get with a good case officer, or a crappy case officer. You're going to get support. You're going to get insufficient support. You're going to have to learn to do it on your own. So it's not a particularly helpful question to ask. I'm terrified my racial persecution employment won't be sufficient. I won't be able to get rid of everything in time working it. Okay, Karen, again, do people listen to anything I say? I mean, honestly, I'm not picking on you, Karen, but does anyone listen to anything I say? Okay, let me see if the sound is still on. Hang on. But does anyone listen to anything I say? I mean, honestly, how many people have failed in this program that didn't commit fraud? How many? Somebody want to give me a figure. How many people have been denied? Anybody know? Does anybody know? You should all know, because I've said it 3 times in this broadcast. How many people have been denied? None. 0. Nix 9 yet in the Bahnhof. Stop worrying. Articulate your situation. Tell your story. Give your legitimate fears. If I was a white South African in South Africa, I have even nothing ever happened to me. If I have kids, I'd be terrified for them unable to work because they're being denied work simply because they're white. Guys, quit overthinking things. Quit overthinking things. It doesn't depend on the state you live in. It depends on the cost of rent where you're at, and it depends on the agency supporting you. The 1 to 3 months thing. Okay, let me catch back up in the chat here. Yeah, Carl von Blerick from Food Socks has been amazing, as was our donor who donated 20,000 Rand to help cover those meals. I was there by the interview location, then they said my name was not on a list. I should wait for a call from them. Okay, that doesn't help me, FBC Store. What does that mean? Were you given a date and you went to the place where they're doing interviews and they told you weren't on the list? If that's what you're saying, that helps me. Lisa, you're welcome. Have heard anything about the group that didn't go before the first shutdown? Yes, I have, Golda. Over half of them are in America now. Over half of them are in America. Some aren't, and that's not a way to run a program. Spook, take care. On the Move says, thank you, Seam Only Hope. Well, I'm trying. Oh, thank you, On the Move. Just get to the U.S. to get a job and pay your own rent. Exactly. Your cats have kept you going after my mom passed. Without them, I fear I may have sunk in depression. Yes, Karen, they do get you up every morning, don't they? No. No one's being placed in Hawaii, Swamp. No. No one's being placed in Hawaii or Samoa. It's too expensive. We have had people placed in Alaska, a handful of people, but no one's being placed in those places. Anton says, maybe it's new. If you did military service, you now need to get your military papers. That's not new. That's always been the case, Anton. That's always been the case. Charles, I'm not worried about rent. I worry about my family's safety. Yep. Gaming says, thank you. The answer, but rude remarks. I got a severe shoulder and 2 months recovery time since my job started show. You're thanking me for the answer, but rude remarks. Well, then don't watch my program. Don't watch my program. I'm not here to hold people's hands. I'm here to tell you the truth. It wasn't rude remarks. That's your inference, not my statement. You inferred that. I didn't state that. No. No. Injury to your shoulder, 2 months recovery time since my job says, well, do you think you're going to be here in 2 months? See, now you give me information that would have been helpful when you asked the question. See, you don't give any context question, and then you say that I'm being rude. I'm not being rude. You're not disclosing the information. That's been like several minutes since you told me that. I answered the question. Why didn't you put the rest of the information up there afterwards? Then I would have told you. But no, you just leave me in the dark, give me a half-assed statement, and then expect an answer, and I take the time to answer your question, then you call me rude. Whatever. Your job is physical. What does that mean, your job is physical in nature? I don't know what that means. Do you bale hay? Do you work for a transportation company lifting crates? I don't know what that means. Dude, you're the one being rude, giving me a scenario that makes no sense. And now you share it with me minutes later. Pfft. Whatever. Whatever. Thank you, Spartan. Exactly, Lorraine. It's articulation. Nowhere in the intake question it says you have to prove anything. Exactly. You don't have to prove anything. I've said that 1 billion times. You have to articulate. Samoa is not part of USA. Hawaii does not take refugees. Yep, exactly, Patches. You were given a day for the interview. Ah, see, FBC Storm, that's a problem. And that's one I'm very torn on advice to give to people. I didn't know what to tell people. I told people if you're close enough to Joburg or Pretoria, Cape Town, where you can just go there, go on the day. I'd say that about 60, 70% of those people were successful. Others weren't. Others have just not gone because they can't afford the resources to drive there for a hope and a prayer that's going to happen. It's a very screwed up situation. And I've shared this with the U.S. government over and over again. They don't listen. And I would fire RSC, except they have no option. There are no American board. What are you talking about? Exit visas, Swamp. What kind of question is that? What are you asking? What borders? Isn't it Canada and Mexico? It used to be you only need a driver's license to go to both countries. Now you need a passport. I don't know, an exit visa. What are you talking about? Can only think if you went for an interview location and weren't on the list, it would be that you had a tentative appointment. Yeah, exactly. If you had a tentative appointment. Tentative appointment means you haven't got a final appointment. Yeah, state borders, there's no visa. Been a permanent job for 20 years. Good Lord, Debbie, that's crazy. Employment since October, and I've only heard back from one interview and now sending out quite a few CVs. Although things are moving the program, there's a bit of a scale back interviews, but this is just a backlog down. Yep. Take care, Golda. You can the best no matter what people think. I don't know what Charles is saying. You're welcome. Newcomers will learn a colonel's not rude, just very honest. Exactly. Just very honest. Swamp says, earlier I meant to upload all your videos on Refugee program to an LLM so people could ask a chariot. Ask a chatbot the questions are answered. Oh, thank you for that. I don't need to load my videos up, though. People listen to class. Yeah, I remember the situation in Phoenix. Anyway, look, I'm not being rude. Not being rude. You give me a partial story, and you ask for me to answer the question. I answer the question. The question was about, how many months rent you get. And my response was, it depends on where you're going in the situation. I answered that. And then I followed that up without any further information by saying that if your concern is about your rent, then your life's not in jeopardy. It's then someone's destination shopping. Then the gentleman gives me further information that would have been helpful from the beginning. You got an injured shoulder. You're worried you won't be able to work. Well, that's helpful, but you didn't give me that information. It's almost like you set me up to answer the question that way. Give me the whole story. I realize there's 244 characters, but you can type another message in there and type another message. Anyway, so yeah, no, I wasn't rude. Just honest. Just honest. We have lots of destination shoppers that think they're coming here on holiday. I think it's a vacation. Well, I want to do. The best one I ever got was a gentleman who wrote to me and said, it's hilarious. He wrote to me and said, yeah, I want to come over to the program, but I organize history tours in South Africa, and I have to come back at least 4 times a year in order to do this. How does that work? And how much of my stuff will the government pay to ship over? I'm like, what? Pay to ship your stuff over? Yeah, I need these things for professional purposes. Dude, you're talking about immigration. You're not talking about being a refugee. And I get this all the time. All the time. That's the one that I thought, look, nice of the gentleman. I enjoyed the conversation with the gentleman. Lovely person. But I told him, I said, look, you're not a refugee. Obviously, it's not unsafe for you to be in South Africa. You're in your circumstances. You just want to come to a better place and live. I get that. I would want electricity too, and water that works and it's safe to drink instead of getting cholera. I get where you're coming from. Roads that don't have potholes in them the size of a tank. I appreciate that. But you're not a refugee. You're a destination shopper. You're looking at immigration. There's a path for immigration. Follow it. South Africa's not banned. South Africans can immigrate here. Senegalese can't, but South Africans can. In about a year from now, most of the questions are going to be about green cards and not necessarily. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what's coming out. You watch. It'll start in May. It won't be many May, but it'll start in late this year. Well, I don't have an unabridged birth certificate. What do I do now? Ask for a waiver. I'll tell you right now, ask for a waiver. Ridge Walker. Good info as always. Appreciate it. Going to call tonight. Yeah, I need to call tonight too because USA is playing hockey now. Let's see if that's on over here. Where are we at here? Pairs. I don't care about the pairs, short pairs. I care about the hockey. There we go. USA and Germany. Final pool stage game for the Americans. Now I have to sit through a 15-second commercial. You know what really pisses me off? I pay these scumbags at Peacock and at Paramount Plus to watch their content, and then they still subject me to commercials. It's ridiculous. And in this case, they have the audacity to say, please turn off your ad blocker. No. Stop making me pay for ads. 3 minutes left in the first period. No score. U.S. has 13 shots on goal. Germany has 5. Germany currently with a puck in the U.S. zone behind the net. And the puck gets loose. They're still behind the net. U.S. goalie is in position. The Germans wearing their black, red, and gold jerseys. USA wearing their hideous 1980s historical jerseys. And they put it in the German zone. This is a line shift as a new pair of forwards and a center come out onto the ice. Germans now on the attack, driving across the blue line. Here it is, leaving it up right at the top of the blue line. The Americans can't clear the zone. Shot on goal, bounces off the goalie's head. It's in front of them. Oh, cleared to the side of the rink. Leon Draisaitl sends it over the middle. The Americans have it now on the breakaway. Here they come. 3-on-2, but he whiffs. Oh, and they turn the puck over right in front of the blue line. And they come back the other way. Draisaitl on the wing. Good shot on goal, and the U.S. goalie stops it. 2 minutes and 7 seconds left in the first period in this final pool stage match against Germans. These games are proving to be much more difficult for the American side than they expected. My security background checks say failed. Now my case is under review. See, Hannes, I told you. See, I told you. Yep. Debbie said, I only say thank Colonel, the mods, and friends. Without your support, straight talks cannot wait to meet. Oh, that's cool. Matthew Dixon is here. We have a troll. The Blue New. Greetings, sent you an email, explain the process. It has been going well. I just want to say thank you. You're welcome. Okay, and then thank you for that. Okay. Matthew says, thank you for everything you've done you've done for us. People need to listen, take in the info because this helps so many to get to where they are. Yep. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Debbie. If they give me a tent staying, Charles, yeah, I got you. Swamp says, that was my question earlier about the shoppers. Someone gave you timeout for it. I didn't see a timeout there, Swamped Out. I didn't see you get a timeout. Apologies for that. Okay. But your questions border on the potential trolling, so just be aware of that. I mean, I see a lot of your questions and your statements, and some of it looks like trolling. Maybe that's why they gave you timeout, but I didn't realize you got a timeout. Immigration is not a refugee application. Night and day, two completely different scenarios. Yep. In my opinion, if you ever want to visit South Africa after becoming a refugee, then maybe you just ain't a real refugee. Exactly, Anton. It's my life. Please help me. My case status says not adjudicated. I've completed everything, including medicals, but my husband died during medicals. I sent a certificate to CWS in December. How did you send it to them? Did you scan it and load it to the portal, or did you email it to them? Not that it really matters, but not adjudicated. So it's my life. Now my question is, are you the qualified applicant, or was your spouse? If you'd already been approved during the process, they may let you go. But if you're not, you don't qualify. Say you're a German national living in South Africa and your spouse was a South African who got approved, then you might be in jeopardy. I don't know. The worst was not being able to sleep, hearing gunshots down the road. Yeah, I hear you. That was Phoenix. What was going on there okay. Some people, in order to be able to work, need professional equipment like reference books, original research. Well, that's all true, snippets, but the U.S. government's not going to ship that for you. I don't deny that that's true. I mean, I'm a professional. I need an Afrikaans dictionary. I need German and French dictionaries to do my work. I need a few reference sources. I need computer equipment. I need professional equipment like microphones. Yes, I get that 100%. But the U.S. doesn't ship refugees' lives here. They ship refugees here. So that's a very big difference. That's why I said the person should be looking at immigration, not a refugee program. Seth Ostoys wants to know where all the snowflakes are coming from. Yeah, the Colonel's not rude. Factual, yes. Rude, no. Buckle up, buttercups. Thank you for that. Thank you, Colonel, for all the info you provide. We go back and forth things over and over. We appreciate what you've done. You're welcome, Bronze Nectar. That's a cool username. Never got into hockey. Well, that's a shame, Swamped Out. It's an amazing game. I love hockey. Uh-oh. What's down? Keith Kachuk has got his helmet off. We got a fight going on? What's going on? Is somebody injured here? Uh-oh. We got a stoppage in action with 33 seconds in the first period.
The National Hockey League.
Jack Eichel's down there, too.
It was right in behind the German.
Well, let's see. I'm waiting for a replay on this. What happened here? Eichel is not happy about something. Mulla is heading off. No score still. Let's see what it was. Okay. A shot on goal. Oh. Keith Kachuk was hit illegal, shoved in the back. His helmet knocked off. There should be a penalty on that. And then Jack Eichel gets a little pushing and shoving here with Muller. So who's going to get the penalty here? Keith Kachuk. Kachuk was tackled and 2, 3, 4. Nobody went off. Oh, we got a penalty here or what?
Player establishes position in the goal crease.
Yeah, that's a penalty. He was in the goal crease.
Falls into the category. I think that may have been a quick whistle.
Yeah. So I don't think they gave a penalty to the Germans. There's only 4 Americans. The Americans get a penalty? Wow, that's unbelievable. The American was assaulted, and it looks like no, it's not a power play. I just don't see the 5th player. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't see a 5th player, though. 4, the other 4. Yeah, there is the 5th player. U.S. keeps it in the zone. Anyway, yeah, so just 28 seconds left in the first period. So nobody got thrown out on that. May I please have your email? So it's one-on-one. People are annoying because no one is asking the right questions. Mine is, where do I start with my husband? Well, Wendy, one of the mods can put it up there. One of the mods put the email up, please. Go watch the videos. Colonel took a lot of time with them. I myself got a bit, when he gets angry or frustrated, but it's 100% understandable. Okay. Well, once I enter, I have to do the GL. Yeah, that's the thing that gets me. I've been doing this crap for over a year, getting no compensation. Offering free consulting advice, something that these scamsters in South Africa charge you a fortune for to immigrate to Canada. They charge you hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. I've asked for nothing. People super chat, that's fine. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. But I haven't demanded payment from anybody for any of this. And I've been doing this for a year, and I answer the same questions over and over again and deal with the same trolls who pop up in the stream over and over again, and have done this day in, day out, night after night, interviewed 30 plus people who are refugees, traveled all over the world, all over South Africa, giving lectures about this, explaining the situation. I have been to Rochester, New York. I have been to Alabama. I have been to Idaho. I've been to Texas. I'm going to Pittsburgh in 2 weeks. I'm going to Las Vegas in Florida, all at my own expense. I did have a generous donor who helped with the Texas trip and paid a fair portion of that, and thank you for that. But I do all of this. And then people have the audacity to come in and say that I'm rude. Not rude. I'm just honest. you don't like it, then go elsewhere. Go somewhere where someone's going to tell you what you want to hear. You want to be told what you want to hear? You want to stress because you don't want to listen to my advice? That's your prerogative. It's your prerogative. Do what you got to do. Anyway. Exactly. The program is a survival program, not leisure. On the move, canceled tickets. Well, I hope that you're getting flights soon, too. That's very frustrating. Well, if they drop gloves in the Olympics, they get penalties. But I didn't see anybody drop gloves here. Super Dave says a go has been extended. No, go has been reinvigorated. It's been created. The extension is a myth. First off, the program ended by law on 30 September. Trump signs a law which makes it retroactive 1 October. That's BS. But they just did that so they can say it never ended. But the people who paid tariffs between October 1st and February still paid tariffs. So we don't know if South Africa's in it. We don't know who's in it because we haven't seen the list of countries that are approved. Presumably the countries are already approved will stay in it, but South Africa's not eligible. So we'll see if they stay. John Kennedy, if he has anything to say about it, they won't be in the program. Lorraine loves ice hockey. Played roller hockey in high school. It was awesome. Cool. Can I ask the first green card questions? Well, you remain a refugee. You remain a refugee. If they don't give you a permanent green card, then presumably you remain a refugee. Yep. So the underlying conditions have to, or unless you commit fraud, have to be changed. Otherwise, you don't go anywhere. That's an interesting question, though. Thank you for asking that. Okay. Give them the money. Mad Max says the Colonel is the original gangster for refugee-related information since day 0, February 7th, for free. Yep. Yep, I haven't asked anybody to relocate here to patronize my restaurant or so that I can make money off your rent. Never asked anybody to do that. Nope. Exactly, Snippets. The Kaffee Klatsch is exactly that. I'm answering questions. By the way, did you guys like the new image? I thought it was pretty cool. I put some effort into that when I updated the image because I didn't like the old one. So, yeah, so here's the new image. Is this the one? Let me see. Here we go. This is the one. The Kaffee Klatsch is not quite spelled right. That's not the one I want. Shoot. That's the one I want right there. Yep. So I messed around with this a couple times, but I didn't like the way it came out a couple times. So this is the new one. So I don't know why I did that. I have it on the screen. I should just use that one. There you go. So got a South African U.S. flag on the table. Got an older couple. Got a young couple there. And the Colonel's Kaffee Klatsch up there in the corner, although it could have an SCH. The way it's spelled there is the U.S. spelling. The German spelling would have KLATSCH. So Kaffee Klatsch. What do you guys think of that? Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. Anyway, so I redid that. So that'll be the image we use going forward. Yes, Colonel, I'm the same. Honest and not rude. I say it as it. Yep. If you want the truth, listen to me. Yep. Leslie likes a new picture. Me too. Okay. You guys like the new image? Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, so that's going to be the end of the first period, and that one's over. Yep. Oh, did we score? Whoa, what happened there? Did we score in the last couple seconds? Whoa. It says USA won. Oh, we score with 8 seconds left. Let me go back to that. Wow. Wow. We score with 8 seconds left. Minute 29. 45 seconds. Let me get down to 8 seconds left. This is crazy. The USA scored with 8 seconds left in the first period. So 39 seconds. Not even on the power play here. 34 seconds. A little pushing and shoving going on here again. Is it Jack Eichel? No, it's not. It is Jack Eichel in it again. Jack Eichel keeps... Oh, no, that was from before. Okay, so that... Hang on. That was... 30 seconds left. Hang on, that's too far.
Paterka and Quinn Hughes. Puck
USA.
played by Austin Matthews. Cross ice. Score! The United States strikes first. Late in the first period, under 9 seconds remaining.
Wow, we scored with less than 9 seconds remaining in the first period. What a great shot that was indeed. Was it Austin Matthews? No, it was Zach Werenski. Zach Werenski, I don't know if he's still with Columbus. I used to root for him. He was with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Wow, 8.7 seconds left. Zach Werenski. That was brilliant. We scored late in the first period to take a 1-0 lead. Yes. That's incredible, man. That's incredible. Oh, what a tough shot. He went between one of the defenders and under the armpit of the goalie. That was incredible. 8.7 seconds left. That's a heartbreaker for Germany to give up a goal that late in the first half. Francois Ferreira says, Bookman, thank you. Yeah, 1951. And Austin Matthews with the assist. That was awesome. Wow, man, that's pretty cool. So we finished the first period. Oh, you like the thumbnail, Spartan? Yeah. Mama Joy. Thanks for being objective, honest, and truthful about your reporting, exposing liars. I really appreciate your willingness to help and inform. You're very welcome, Super Dave. 6 extra times just for the picture. You should have a red suit on hanger in the back somewhere. A lighthearted question in your view, which would be the worst place to end up in and what would be the best place to end up in your opinion? Worst place to end up in? Well, that's kind of unfair. I would not want to live in New York. Best place to live in? For quality of life and for opportunities, you got to put it all together in one package. I don't know. Wyoming doesn't have the economic opportunities, but I love Wyoming. I guess I'd say maybe Tennessee. Yeah. Okay, pro, but you have to pay for pro. Do you not? That's old news. That's 13 January. Okay. Is that what you're telling me to put in there? Thank you for the Super Chef Mad Max. Okay. This month marks 1 year in the program. All done with the process. Waited 3 months for flights. Would love to shake your hand when we get there. All right, you're an athlete. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that. Charles likes Tennessee. Okay, Colonel, if you have to choose, I've identified my skill set, Dallas or Chicago. Given those choices, I'd pick Dallas if you have a choice. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Dallas, but I'll take that over Chicago any day. Tennessee would be my preference as well. I love the Smoky Mountains. Yeah, I think now it's Tennessee. I mean, it's a nice state. Nice state. Yep. Ohio's a good choice too. Just depends what you're looking for. So, Debbie wants me to check her email. Everybody wants me to check the email. Why can I play? You want me to play favorites? I'm going to piss people off by playing favorites. Playing favorites. Debbie, okay. The answer to your question, Debbie, is yes. Okay? Yes. Short answer is yes. Does that help? Does that help? I got one from Blue GNU and some other folks here. All right, cool beans. I want to be relocated to the Badlands in Utah. Idaho's nice, Lorraine. Idaho's nice, but I mean, you know, it's... I don't want to live in Twin Falls. I mean, it's become refugee central. Mars. The best channel ever. Thank you. You're very welcome, Spartan. It's very kind of you. Speak with Spartan you sent me. Let me see if I can find your email before you're gone so I know who I'm looking for. Got it. You sent it at 4 o'clock this morning. Oh, Spartan, your case is Nagonoy. That's fresh, man. That's fresh. That's not long at all. Yep. Bear in mind that the date you gave me, there wasn't any government activity for a period of time there. So, okay. Hi, all our case under review. Hoping for good news. Nebraska. Well, Nebraska's okay. Not my cup of tea. I lived in Iowa. Iowa's okay. Nebraska's okay, but I like mountains. I like forest. It's my cup of tea. So anyway, alrighty. So there is another Kaffee Klatsch in the books. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We didn't have one last week because I was in Dallas and I was busy on Sunday relocating from one hotel to the other, and then I did an interview that morning with Ross, which was pretty cool. It's been a week already. Wow. Deliverance. I don't know where Deliverance is filmed. All right, you guys, thanks. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done it already. How are we doing on likes? We got 352 likes. Got some super chat revenue. Thank you all for the super chats. If I missed any, my apologies. Wasn't intentional. Okay, you're very welcome. And I've been working at this since 7 o'clock this morning, so it's time for me to take a break. This is best channel. I've been to so many others, and they don't come close to this one because it's not only informative and like, but it's also interactive and entertaining. We try to be entertaining. Yep. And informative. Yep. And we cover everything from the Olympics to copper mining. Everybody, thanks a lot for being here. Have a good evening. I'll be back tomorrow. I've got a refugee interview for tomorrow. Just waiting to hear back from the gentleman in Virginia. It'll be our first refugee interview in Virginia. So it'll be anonymous, but it'll be another refugee interview tomorrow. So hopefully most people want to come on camera. We've had a fair number of anonymous ones lately. Just need to get you that dog. Yeah. TM Afrikaner, thank you for 140 Rand. Thank you. Thank you, Colonel, for making me smile tonight. It's my job, Ruben, to try to help you smile. Looking forward to the next live. Okay, the next live will be tomorrow for the news. That'll be tonight. Night Owls will be tonight. I didn't do one last night because it was Saturday night, and I was getting some rest, well-deserved rest. Tonight we'll have Night Owls, okay? So we'll catch you back here a little bit later on, guys, okay? Thanks. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out the door, and we'll see you. Thank you for that super chat, TM Afrikaner. Appreciate that. And that's going to do it for here. I thought that our super chats had dried up, but they showed up on this show. Dedication, shoulder to wheel attitude is always greatly appreciated. Okay, thanks for all the info. You're very welcome, guys. Be well. Take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you later tonight. Tomorrow morning for South Africans, but later tonight. Cheers, and be well. Now, where the heck is my closing? There it is. Got it.